You're going to be all, and people sitting down here, you're going to be learn. So let's try this again. We all learn. Okay. I'll try. I mentioned we have 3 P's happening in our world of education. We have piping, or infrastructure. Now, my building was built in 1992 to be a demonstration site for technology and education. And it wasn't until 2000 that the pipes up to the building took advantage of the Cat5 cabling that we now utilize. Pages, I mentioned we have 53 trillion pages on the web. Google's only indexed about 1 trillion of that. So we still got 53 times as much as what Google's indexed, right? A lot of it's junk. How do we find good quality stuff and index it for your students and so forth? Then we have participatory culture. All of you in Facebook or MySpace or Ning are part of this participatory learning culture. First trend is ebooks. We've got the Barnes & Noble, we've got the Nook, right? We've got sort of panned on the New York Times recently, but they're saying wait a couple of months. The nice thing about the Nook is I think you can go to the shelves at Barnes & Noble and get the electronic version off of your reader and actually share the book for a month with someone else so they can take a look at the book for a while. My book is available on the iPhone in short covers. Now, I didn't even know it existed, or I'm sorry, soft covers, and I didn't know that existed, but it does. iPhone, iPod, iPad, you can get all these ebooks today. And in California, they want all K-12 schools to have digital books by the end of the decade, end of 2020, to have every book. And in Korea, by 2012, they want, any of you from Korea in the room? Yeah. In Korea, they want, by 2012, they're already experimenting with 100 schools in Korea this year, and they're going to make all with hyperlinks, with study questions, with animations, simulations wrapped into the books. So what happens when we have web searching in the world of ebooks? We all learn. So college campuses like San Diego State have 5–10% of their digital books up on the web, right? In the next few years, this is going to double or triple. Some estimate that kids are saving $50, $60 a book in the science areas. The problem with many ebooks is that they self-destruct after 6 months or a year. You can't share them and all those kinds of things. You can't necessarily mark up on them, although some you can. But the publishers still don't know how to price these. And back in 2000, I had an undergraduate textbook that was an ebook. They guillotined it and they put it through the optical scanners. And my student said, Dr. Bonk, your book's an ebook. I said, no, it's not. I'm an author of the book. I'm using the book. The publisher certainly would have told me. And sure enough, it was an ebook. They didn't even tell the instructors that it existed as an ebook. That's how bad the ebook. Back in 99, 2000, 2001, we'd hear, this is the month of the ebook. This is the year of the ebook. And then 2 months later, this is the downfall of the ebook. We're finally at a point, and by the way, I thought of the 10 trends, this was the least important trend. Ebooks are the least important of the 10. Since the book came out in July, I think it's the most important trend. It's the one we're hearing the most about, right? We hear, maybe you haven't, about the Blio. Ray Kurzweil, who brought us the screen readers, the JAWS screen readers for visually impaired people, so they can hear books, right? They can play back things, and if you ever watched the visually impaired people turn up, so 200–300 words a minute, because all the, it says gift tag, gift tag, gift tag, and then all of a sudden it gives them something they can use. It's kind of depressing, actually, sometimes watching what's going on. Anyhow, the Blio is going to be a free platform, open source platform that's going to have more authentic typography and illustrations and video embedded within books. Very important for the medical field in particular, right? This is announced as coming. We'll see whether or not those of you doing dissertations in the future might think about research on that. Or the iPad. Has anyone bought the iPad or put in an order for an iPad? Used it? Seen it? You've seen it? You like it?
Yeah. It's not fantastic device that they built it to be, but I thought it was really something that the next iteration will probably be better.
Yeah, so here we've got people pushing the envelope. They're pushing up here, right? And it's not just text anymore, right? So we'll continue to have new iterations of ebooks. And you think about it, in the last couple weeks, in fact, as I mentioned last night at dinner to some people, ebooks and video streaming, webcamming things, which is traditionally what's done in college classes. You have books and you have lectures. And then these things, repeating themselves in the online space, fortunately or unfortunately. My friend Terry Anderson has a book on the theory and practice of online learning, and he told me 2 years ago in Scotland he'd normally sell 2,000 copies at the most. This one had a couple 100,000 downloads within the first couple of years. It's now got version 2, made it free. As I said, California's adopting digital books. My friend Cory Doctorow, one of the founders of Boing Boing, one of the most popular blogs in the world, a cultural blog. Have you seen Boing Boing? Yeah, some of you have. Well, he puts all his books out as free ebooks. And the publisher also makes these books available as paid books, physical books. Now, Cory Doctorow was a Fulbright scholar at USC last year. How many of you are working on an undergraduate degree? Working on it. You're not done yet with your undergraduate. He never finished. 4 times he tried. He never graduated from college, yet he was a scholar at USC on their campus, you know, because of his blog Boing Boing and his free ebooks and other things. He's pushed the envelope. He says it's like blowing dandelions, you see. You push the seeds out there, and he sells more books by having a free book available. Those of you who are thinking about, should I put a book out free or not? Talk to Cory Doctorow. You know, when I was an undergraduate student, the first book I had to read in English 101 was this book, An International Episode by Henry James. Not his brother William, but by Henry. And I could read that book. But today, I can listen to that book in a British voice, in an American voice, or a tinny voice, in a male voice, in a female voice. So this book today is available for students from the Internet Archive. Now the Internet Archive brought us the Wayback Machine, where you can look at what the web looked like in the old days back in 2001 or 1997. You can look up Dr. Liu's websites from 1996 and 97. She probably doesn't want you to look, but you know, you can go back and see what the web looked like. They also are scanning in books at the Internet Archive. They don't want Google to win. You see, Microsoft threw in, you know, threw out the white flag. They surrendered to Google. You ever believe it? Microsoft would surrender to Google. They surrendered on the book scanning project. You see, so did Yahoo. So did Amazon and others. They have a lawsuit against Google. No one wants Google to have all the world's knowledge, you see. We're a little worried about that. There's a big lawsuit today, this week. Google's countersuing the U.S. Department of I don't know, copyrights or whatever, but there's a big lawsuit going on with Google and the U.S. And other companies. So the Internet Archive is a nonprofit, and they're scanning in millions of books. They also take Jerry Garcia ties like this one. They take Grateful Dead music and they make it available free on the web. And they have all sorts of free educational softwares that you go to the Internet Archive. They have the Open Content Alliance. It's called the Open Content Alliance, with libraries from around the world scanning in books for free so that you can listen to the book, you can comment on the book, you can magnify the book if you're visually impaired, you can listen to the books in female voices, American voices, British voices. It's cool stuff. So ebooks, lots are happening. I mean, we don't just have to be solitary in reading a book anymore. You can read it with other people, if you will. Now, how many of you have ever watched Oprah Winfrey? How many of you have ever seen Shaquille O'Neal? Okay? The former basketball star of the NBA got his degree a couple of years ago through the University of Phoenix in a blended format, some on the web, some face-to-face. People took notice when Shaquille O'Neal got an MBA. People took notice when Oprah Winfrey taught a class last year on the web with how many students? 2 million students. And they had a synchronous session with 600,000 to 700,000 simultaneous downloads. Back when Dr. Lu Min and I were teaching in the mid-90s on the web, we would worry, we'd write each other emails saying, you know, I have a class with 20 students and I think it's going to crash today and I don't think it's going to work all that well. You know, 20, 30 students, it's just not going to work. And now today, 600,000 simultaneous downloads. Times have changed. And when Oprah Winfrey's doing online learning, you see, back when we were doing stuff in the mid-90s, it was weird. You know, in 1950, if anyone would have learned on the web, that person would have been Time Magazine's Person of the Year.